All right. Now, everyone, it's time for a interesting, insightful, and knowledgeable panel discussion. The topic is going to be leveraging technology in procurement, AI, automation, and the digital revolution. But moving forward, now it's time for an insightful and knowledgeable panel discussion. The topic is going to be leveraging technology in procurement, AI, automation, and the digital revolution. The moderator for this session will be Mr. Ajoy Sikka, Director, Global Supply Chain Carrier. Let me give a small brief about sir. Mr. Ajoy is building Carrier's global supply chain COE, that is Center of Expertise in India, to drive productivity on Carrier's global $10 billion spend. COE is building expertise in spend analytics and insights, driving RFQs at scale, building should-cost models, negotiation, owning and implementing digital procurement tools. In his earlier role, Mr. Ajoy led parts procurement for carrier service and aftermarket vertical, drove several initiatives to improve bottom line and top line. The panelists for this session will be starting with Mr. Rajiv Ganju, Senior Vice President, Manufacturing and Global Supply Chain, Luminous Power Technologies Private Limited. The next will be Mr. Abhishek Arora, Head Strategic Sourcing and Packaging, LT Foods Limited. Next will be Mr. Mayur Chhabra, Head of Supply Chain, JK Cement. Then will be Mr. Mohit Jauhari, Head SCM, Shriram Pistons and Rings Limited, followed by Mr. Sandeep Gauba, Vice President, SCM Indus Towers, followed by Mr. Lalit Manchanda, Customer Success Partner, Senior Specialist, SAP. Last but not least, Mr. Ashish Gupta, Chief Procurement and Supply Chain Officer, Compass Group, India. With this, a huge round of applause to the entire panel, and let's welcome our moderator and the entire panel on the dais, please. With a huge round of applause, everyone. Let's show some energy because these leaders, these experts are here with us today to share their knowledge, their insights, to discuss on important topics. I believe every day is an opportunity to learn something new from someone, and there is no age limit and there is no time limit to learn something from someone. The entire panel is on the dais, so looking forward for an exciting, knowledgeable and insightful session. And I request everyone, please be with us throughout the entire day because more Power Pack sessions are about to come. With this, over to you, sir.
Is this audible? Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so no better time to discuss this topic that actually we have been hearing since morning as well on leveraging technology in procurement. Let me start with a question for all of you. How many of you using any AI platform, ChatGPT, Meta AI, Gemini, or how many of, I think maybe I should, using, everybody is using? Okay, well, let me reverse the question. How many are not using today? Okay, so when I ask that how many are not using, I actually see very few hands. So like perhaps like maybe this is one topic that is relevant to everyone. I'll start with a quick start and then I'll jump into the panel. So I think when ChatGPT came in 2023, it was the fastest growing technology. It reached 10 million users in 5 days. And from 10 million to 100 million, it took just 60 days to reach 100 million users. And as on date, the AI platforms are being used by at least 400 million users. So that's the speed at which this AI technology is growing. And we learned since morning on autonomous intelligence, we talked about agentic AI, we talked about blockchain. So, and for all that, we have this esteemed panel who would be sharing, with whom we will be asking a lot of the tough questions to share their expertise on all the questions around the technology in procurement. So, so we'll jump into the discussion straight away, and I'll ask each of the panelists to introduce themselves, and I'll have a question as well. So I'll start with Mr. Rajiv. On the Mr. Rajiv, and I think the first question would be, first of course, introduce yourself, but also give us a most promising example of a tech implementation, be it smart manufacturing, blockchain, AI that you have seen, and give us some credible examples that everyone in the room can learn and benefit from. So over to you, Mr. Rajiv.
So once again, good morning. So we have to show some energy. So otherwise, I'll keep on saying good morning till we have some energy in the room. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. That's better. So introduction has already been, I think introduction has been given there. So when we talk about technology in procurement, first of all, I think this is this group is very fortunate enough, because somebody in previous session said that procurement people, normally they consider themselves as back end. But from COVID, procurement is an important part of supply chain. So after COVID, if we see, before COVID, the scenario was different. So procurement people were only in the shop floor to see that line is running or line is not running. Or when there was a discussion that when sales was down, oh, is procurement giving enough productivity or it is not giving enough productivity? So why don't you negotiate more? Negotiate more and more, more and more. So these were the only 2-3 questions. Material is there. Have you negotiated better? These were the questions. But after COVID, when we saw that lot of shortages, electronic component shortages, any supply chain disruptions, I think from shop floor, all of you have reached the top floor, so give yourself a big hand. So when you have reached the top floor, so normally we have seen that whenever any organization thinks about digitizing, analytics, it starts with sales. They want to see what happens, where it is, so let distributor be online. So they will start with sales organization. But if you have seen the trend after COVID, so lot of elements of supply chain have seen lot of analytics, lot of digitization. More so not only the private industry, but look at government. So we were talking about Ariba. So I think most of the organization today, they may use any tool, but they will do e-auction. This is the first tool they have said, at least the normal negotiation, at least let us see that who is real L1, L2, L3, at least they have used some kind of e-auction method, including the government organization. That was the first digitization which procurement people really, and it was a lot of help to them. Second thing when we say is procure to pay, normally we will say that lot of POs were getting generated, then they had to see whether the payments are going there, credit terms were different. But if we see procure to pay, most of the things, I think to tier 1, tier 2, especially tier 3 suppliers, this has been a big boon in the industries. At least they are receiving, when they were committed, their payment will reach them. Not only it has given good thing to their cash flow, but it has also helped organization to negotiate better and use that credit term or use that payment term for better negotiation. Third thing when we say if we go more into now take is spend analytics. So normally we only focus on negotiation, but we do not focus what is the real engine behind is that analytics. Ultimately, it is 80% or 90% of the total product cost any organization spends on procuring material. So if we don't analyze it properly, that what we have done in the past or what we are going to do in future. So I think that has helped a lot. People know now what is to be done. Fifth thing, when we talk about agentic AI or generative AI, the best part is to locate suppliers. Normally, lot of hard work is done that where do we identify around the globe. Today, the supply chain has become global. Where do we identify and where the best cost exists? I think lot of things there, the generative AI, lot of help is provided by that to identify where those suppliers are and to identify what are the price trends, how it is going to happen in future so that well-informed decisions can be taken. And finally, I would say that when we talk about robotic process automation in procurement, so normally we say the robots are only for hardware. So robotic process automation, we can use even GRN, what we do, whether the correct material came, correct quantity came, that also through robotic automation, we can anticipate and we can reduce that wasteful time to see that the supplies were not exact, the numbers were not exact, kgs were not exact. That can be finalized through robotic process automation. Ultimately, we are talking about smart cities, we are talking about smart sales, I think smart supply chain and smart procurement. This is what is going to remain. So smart means to cut any process short, to make any process more simple. So these are the things that are helping procurement team as well.
No, thank you, Mr. Rajiv. So, Mr. Rajiv, like I can say, is a full encyclopedia. So we moved from auctions to P2P, analytics, AI, and RPA as well. So I think with this, I move to Ashish. Ashish, if you can give a more complex, credible example, and also talk about how do you quantify the benefits of that.
Sure. Thanks, Ajay. So I'm representing Compass. We are a food service company, world's and India's largest food service company, and we operate across a large number of client locations, our own central kitchens, and of course a huge portfolio of ingredients which go into making a great food program for our customers. And managing this complexity, the amount of data which is generated on a daily basis, whether it's client or the customer data, or whether it's the data of what we procure and supply to our different locations, I think the complexity is growing to such level that it's difficult for us to manually get the right insights out of that data to be able to efficiently manage it. There are a lot of inefficiencies which grow where you have this multi-site setup, and when you start actually using AI and machine learning technologies to assess that data, analyze that data, you really are able to identify a lot of opportunities. That's what we do today. Another example I would like to share is, so food service, food quality is a inherent part and very important aspect of the experience we deliver to our customers. And one particular challenge in the food service industry is to ensure that there is no unwanted material landing on the plates of our consumers. Whatever, so in every food industry, food operating business, there is an element of manual sorting involved when you are dealing with grains like rice or, let's say pulses, etc. Whatever level of manual sorting you may do, there is always a possibility that something will miss through the human eye. And we have developed a very unique technology which is using AI and high-speed cameras, and basically we have used data to basically teach what is right and what is wrong. So basically it's able to detect the defects and able to sort out those defects with a significantly higher accuracy than a manual intervention. And that has helped us to reduce the accuracy of such errors in the operation. So that's one example I thought will be interesting to share with the group here.
I think that's very helpful. So talking about the use of AI in a case of a food industry. So I jumped to Abhishek. Abhishek shared that they have gone through, last 3 years, they have gone through a massive digital and AI transformation. So Abhishek, if you can give some, again, real examples on like RFPs, contracting, like how have you digitized or AI enabled all the activities that you do in procurement?
Thanks for asking that question, and good morning, everyone. If we talk about digitalization or AI enabled, So it is completely transforming the procurement landscape today. AI goes back to the historical data and it will check the performance of a supplier there, and then it will give you a future reliability of a supplier with regards to its quality, service level, prices, etc. AI would also help you to manage the supplier risk management, whereby during a supplier selection process, say, you are going through a pre-qualification criteria for a supplier, whereby it will show you it will put a high risk vendor on a matrix and a low risk vendor on a matrix by checking the external sources throughout the globe, like geopolitical changes that are happening, seasonal fluctuations that keep happening globally, and will give you to select the right kind of vendor. He will also check the credibility of the vendor through the external sources, and also the financial instability of a vendor if it is there. Then also one more very important feature of AI that we guys have also leveraged, it is called NLP. NLP is a natural language processing tool, uh, which tries to extract and evaluate the data from more complex information, or and it evaluates into a more easy and more realistic data. For say, for example, there are big contracts that you have to manage, right? So it can just extract out the important clauses, dates of that contract, and what are the important SLAs that need to be taken care of. It will highlight all of them. Then if I talk about AI, it is playing a vital role in performance monitoring of a supplier, whereby I say if earlier what used to happen, the performance evaluation used to be more static and periodically, but now it is more dynamic and realistic, right? It is real-time data. So AI will show you dashboards that will give you real-time performance data of a vendor, any deviation that a vendor is making, any defects that he's making in quality, and it will also give you price alerts. We have implemented this in our system, whereby it shows me the alerts of any price incremental or any quality rejection happens throughout the value chain. And I can take qualitative and informed decision right away. And also, if I talk about contract management, AI plays a very important role, not only to get the information extracted and evaluated, but also to meet the obligations and compliances on as and when required. So AI will study whether the deliveries of a contract have been fully made or not, whether the SLAs have been adhered or not. Basis that, if it is not happened, it will send reminders to the vendors, or on both hands, whether a payment of a vendor is not made, it will send reminders to us that this payment and milestone has been reached, or if there is a renewal of a contract that needs to happen. So AI will help and send the information for renewal of that contract.
No, I think, no, thank you, Abhishek. And I was relating this to my current work we are doing. So we are also a company with almost 60 different manufacturing sites globally. And just checking that contract compliance was a challenge. Like, so there are like 20 different clauses in a contract that we have to check, and that many of these vendors are global vendors. So like today we were manually going to each ERP. Our ERPs are like not integrated fully. So we are going to each ERPs, that for each ERPs, whether the right payment term has been implemented or not. Now, maybe what I'm learning from Abhishek is that we don't have to do all this. The new technologies of AI and NLP can do that for us. Correct, Abhishek? Okay, thank you, Abhishek. Okay, so we'll move to Mr. Sandeep. So in today's world, of course, the one thing that cannot go down is the network, the mobile network or the internet network. And Sandeep, as part of his supply chain role, they are responsible for managing the complex network of all the sites the sites that are there globally for all the telecom from Indus towers. So Sandeep, in such complex environment, how do you leverage technology to make our job easier?
Thank you, Ajay. Just to give you the context, at Indus Towers, we maintain 250,000 sites, and these sites are spread across India, and these sites are maintained remotely. And itself, each site is a small factory for us. And we are supported by 2,000 partners, and we don't call vendor or supplier, we call them partners. And from partner onboarding, work allocation, till payment, everything is digitalized. And just to give you example, like we spend close to 12,000 crores every year, and major spend is on diesel and batteries. And in diesel, like what we have implemented with the help of AI and with the help of SNMP platform, our all sites are connected through SNMP platform, and there is two-way communication. We have centralized stock, and with all sites are communicated, and our technicians are also having mobile app which is communicated, getting alarms, real-time alarms through our talk. Now with the help of SNMP platform, we are getting real-time diesel consumption, real-time DG run hour data. With the help of that, now diesel beat plan, DG preventive maintenance plan are being allocated to partner through our system. There is no manual intervention, and partner are doing their work by that platform. Now, Mr. Patnaik was talking about ESG. Like we implemented close to 30,000 sites solarized, and the challenge for us was like when the solar generation is better and how to get the full optimization of solar. Like EB availability is also changing from site to site. So what we have done, we have implemented a software which will basically sense what is the EP availability, whether we are able to consume solar in full manner or not. If we are not able to consume solar in full manner, site will basically switched off from EB perspective, and we will be using full solarization. So these are the examples which we have implemented in our company, and we are moving ahead in this journey. There are many automations which are happening in this journey.
Thank you, Sandeep. And Mr. Lalit, we intentionally came to you in the end because like today morning we learned that 60% of the industries run on SAP. We also run on SAP, by the way. We have SAP and Ariba both implemented. And I don't know like maybe how easy or complex you find it. Like I was telling Lalit that, okay, we are still taking a lot of time to understand how to really leverage the full power of Ariba. So we are still like in the learning phase. So Lalit, the question to you, like, okay, like really how many of the implementations are successful or not successful? And like what does the room can learn from here on? Like what do we have to do to be part of those successful transformations from a digital implementation perspective?
So thank you, Ajay, for having me, and thank you to our audience for their precious time. So Ajay, from my experience in procurement applications, implementing these applications across industries and in multiple geographies, and now with my current role as a customer success manager, I've been closely engaged with CPOs, CIOs. So this is my personal pointers in terms of what is that is needed or the ingredient for a successful implementation or adoption, and in no particular order, right? So I think first, I think it is very important to adopt to the best or leading practices, right? While no solution can be 100% match to your business, not saying that we don't need configurations or customizations, we do, right? But at the same time, we should not overcomplicate things. Many a times, when we get into those conversations at design level, we see people, really looking to implement solutions for 2% of the exceptions while ignoring 90% of the standard process which can be run smoothly within the platform. So it is important that we, stick to the standards, and with the SaaS solutions, anyways, the innovation is something that is coming to you every quarter, if I take an example of Ariba. And to be in continually touch with your OEM in terms of those innovations is important, right? Secondly, I would say that it is very important to drive effective change management. So change management is something, and again, sorry to be blunt here, but more often than not, it is reduced to the level of end user training. That is, how it is treated in many of our projects. Whereas, specifically with this cloud solutions, it is important to imbibe the cloud mindset, that these are solutions where, they're already coming with the best practices from across industries. And why not, think from a perspective that if the problem statement has been solved for other customers, maybe it can work for me as well, and have that perspective also in mind. And that is the best way to reap your, investment out of that solution without too much trouble, right? Third is, once we go live, it is important to have a robust support in place. So while you have SMEs who are giving their best in terms of designing a solution, but it is important to have a strong support structure, whether it is your partners or OEMs or your in-house IT team. But when a solution is rolled out to end users, that is a different ball game, right? On day one, you will have different number of challenges, and I'm sure all my co-panelists can correlate with that. So it is important to have that, structure in place. And lastly, I believe it is important to have continued governance. So what we have seen is that while during the implementation we'll have functioning steer codes almost every month or fortnightly steer codes, but everything gets dissolved once we go live, and that focus is shifted, And this is a difference where you have successful adoption and a relatively lower adoption. So it's important to have that continued governance. Yeah.
Got it. So I think, so recapping what Lalit said, if in the room, I think today in today's world, we would have a lot of the tech implementations. Everyone will have a lot of them. So we have to be successful. I'm just recapping 4 things that Lalit talked about. One is just follow the best practice. Don't try to solve or customize the solution for 2% exceptions. Like follow the 98%, which is the industry best practice. Second is change management, very important. We always say it, but always difficult. Third one was having a right partners to guide you in the journey. So that's the third right partners. And like don't shift the focus after the go live date. So a continued governance is very important. So Lalit, just a follow-up question, and we'll come back again. A follow-up question, like how do you justify the ROI? And I'll ask question from a personal perspective as well. We did implement Ariba 3 years back. Now when our CFO asks questions, okay, what do you... So when working now. So we implemented Ariba actually 3 years back, and our CFO still has a question on, okay, we implemented X million dollars. Now how do you justify the ROI of that? So like maybe we'll address our specific question later, but if you can guide the team on like sure. For any tech implementation, how do you justify the ROI?
Sure, Ajay. So, this is something, that is a key charter.
Is it audible?
So this is something which is a, key charter for my role as well. So what we do here is that it's important that, when any investment is made, obviously it is made keeping business objectives in mind, right? And when we talk of procurement digitization, the most common business objectives that I've seen is, and again in no particular order, one is your cost savings, then compliance or transparency, efficiency, and improved user experience, right? These are the 4 pillars that I've seen the most across customers. So it is important to set those objectives and right during the implementation, right? And this is not something that you have to do post go live. So right during the implementation, try to identify the corresponding KPIs that you want to track against those business objectives and baseline those KPIs. So it is important to understand how you were doing against those KPIs before you went into or started with the journey of your procurement transformation. For example, whether it is TAT or savings or even user experience. So from that perspective, have those measures and set your targets. Now, once you are into your post-implementation go-live, business as usual phase, that is where the continuous governance point comes into play. So it is important to track those KPIs month on month. Make sure you involve your OEM, into that conversations, and also your KPI owners to understand where we are lagging behind, what is the action that can be taken, whether it is a gap that can be addressed through internal SOPs or internal drive, or whether it is really a product gap which needs to be addressed by the OEM. So, those conversations help. And if I take an example of, some of the successful implementations, one of my customer, automotive customer based out of NCR, they have done this very effectively, and we are having, tremendous good results in terms of adoption. Same goes with one of our big mining customers. And this continuous governance and, having project sponsors in those conversations help in driving, successful adoption.
Yeah. No, I think that I fully echo actually, and I have seen lots of companies implementing digital technologies like even Ariba. And like one particular example I remember is there was a CEO of a company who said that every spend has to go through any auction. Like he mandated it. It was like a agro commodity company. They were buying cotton and everything, chemicals and everything. So even for complex things like agro categories like cotton and so on, they said it cannot go through without an auction. And once the CEO mandated it, I think people actually made sure it goes through an auction. Before that mandate, everybody had 100 reasons of cotton buying in India is so disorganized. There are thousands of traders, distributors, and we cannot actually buy it through an auction. But once the mandate came, they actually did it, and that they were benefiting from that as well. So that's maybe a very powerful message from Lalit that we need to have a clear KPIs and a strong mandate and a continuous governance for any implementation. Will not go into a lot of questions, but we'll have very crisp questions or a fire round. So I'll ask everyone, maybe if you can give one specific piece of professional advice on what is that one technology that people should go learn and implement from like tomorrow. Like what is the most promising bet that you would put for everybody that we should go learn today, implement tomorrow within our world? And I'll have this question for everyone, so I'll request everyone to be crisp.
So like in the discussion itself, it came that we are spending so much of money, and if we don't have correct analytics, so if we can digitize any process, like for example, even if you take a small process, every factory has a camera. But doing GRN, sometimes you will find shortages, then you will blame vendor did not send correct material. But same camera, it's an idle resource. While it has to check who is coming in, that security guard also doesn't look at that camera. Now imagine just integrate generative AI with it. So one, it can take care of your, like when the material comes in, most of the materials, 80% of the materials have barcode. It will read the barcode. It will go through a weighing bridge. It can check and exactly calculate weight into number. So then it will do the GRN and it will check whether the correct material has come or not. A simple problem can get eradicated by that. Take another simple example. Lot of discussion procurement guys have with incoming quality guys that your measurement was wrong. It was measured this thing with this at the digitization. If we do a small robotic process automation, today all weighing instruments, measuring instruments, they are digitally viable. So do a robotic process automation automatically that whatever is measured, it goes to the SAP. The SAP will generate a report. There will be no discussion with anybody. You will come to know everybody will have same measurement. Ultimately, it will help you in repeatability. It will help you in reproducibility. So these are small things if we do. And finally, like we are spending so much, unless we have spent analytics and we see where did we go bad, how can we improve in future? I think these are the three things we should definitely do. Last thing, which I think everybody said, is digitization does not mean that we have to create smart dashboards, but we have to create smart analytics which can lead to smart decisions.
No, thank you, Rajiv. Maybe Ashish, one quick thing.
Yeah, I think I would say, I mean, since I think in all kinds of areas, AI is slowly creeping and, able to replace a lot of these mundane jobs. I think as we move forward, one of the important skill is to be able to really ask the relevant questions. I think developing that skill will help us to really make the most out of this technology. There's so much of data all around us, but to be able to, derive the right insights from that, how do we use this technology to the fullest? I think having that business understanding and also to be able to, drive to right, questions we want to, get insights on. So yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you. So Ashish is betting on like maybe more business knowledge to convert data into insights.
Yeah, so there are a lot of technologies which are available today for the procurement transformation, but according to me, I'll vote for blockchain and also predictive analysis here. So because both of these technologies bring in transparency, efficiency, and strategized procurement as a function. If I talk about blockchain, it enhances the mutual trust between a supplier and a buyer, because it gives you a common shared platform, which is a real-time platform which shows a real-time data, and this enhances the collaboration between both and helps in dispute management at given point of time. The other thing that I want to talk about is predictive analysis, which shows you the forecast and futuristic approach and will help you manage your demand forecasting for especially for commodities and freight if you buy ocean freight also, right? So there could be a lot of disruptions happening around. Right now there is a trade war, tariff war going on, and also a war going on globally, so it will help there. Other thing, it will also help you to have a better price forecast also, especially for commodities, right? And I think predictive analysis and blockchain both will be very important technologies that will help the procurement function.
No, thanks. I think very powerful, Ashish. Sandeep?
Yeah, so in my view, we have to challenge the status quo. We used to say small improvement, but now it's time to have exponential improvements in every process. And AI is certainly going to help us in demand forecasting, in inventories, majorly in risk mitigation. So risk mitigation is very important in each and every business. AI is certainly going to help us for risk mitigation.
Oh, thanks, Sandeep. Lalit, we'll have a simple question for you, maybe different one. Can SAP do it all for us? So we talked about automation, we talked about AI, we talked about the blockchain and the predictive analytics. Can SAP and Ariba do all this?
So, Ajay, a decade ago we were only talking of source to pay when it comes to digitization, but now it has stretched to different end of the spectrum. Now I hear our CPUs talking about predictive procurement. They're talking about the supplier risks, monitoring supplier performance. So we have those suite of applications which cover the entire depth and breadth from a procurement space. And the way we saw, we are heavily investing with this Joule Copilot. And in coming quarters and by 2026 Q1, people will see a major shift in the way we are bringing our applications out. Yeah.
Got it. No, I think this was very helpful. There are lots of technologies people are betting on, and then there are platforms being developed to cater to all that as well. Do we have time for audience questions? Okay, we'll take a couple of questions. So I think just anyone feel free to have any question. You can take your name, your company's name, and the question that you have. Anyone? Yeah, okay, we have a hand there. Can we have the mic, please?
Who was the person, please? Can you raise your hand?
Hi, good morning. My name is Anil and I am from QMD. So QMD is a medical device company. So my question is to Lalit. And my question is how SAP AI can help in risk mitigation, especially the external factor, like financial condition of suppliers and their supplier base, especially tier 2 and tier 3 suppliers.
So thank you, Anil, for asking that question. Specifically on supplier risks, we have Ariba Supplier Risk Platform, which is basically taking into consideration different, providers in terms of collecting this risk, whether it is ESG, legal, or financial risks, and whether it is DNB, Moody's, or EcoVadis. There are multiple subscriptions which are part of the platform, and customers can in fact purchase additional subscriptions when it comes to tracking risks for these suppliers. So I think we have a booth set up, and we'll be happy to take you through in more detail if you want to explore.
Yeah. We can have one last question. Yeah.
Can we have a mic over there, please?
Hello. Yeah, so good morning, everyone. My name is Amit Kumar, and I represent Tata Consultancy Services, TCS. My question is both to the panelists and also to Lalit. The question is, nowadays organizations are growing through merger and acquisitions, right? Multiple ERP systems are there. We are talking about AI, Gen AI, agentic AI, future technologies. Now these organizations which are growing through merger and acquisitions have data in different format. Okay. Now the base for AI or any agentic or Gen AI is the data. Now when the data is so unstructured, coming from multiple ERP systems, and data is the base for AI, how are you managing in your organizations? That is one. And to Lalit, how SAP is helping in this, in resolving this problem? Thank you.
Anyone wants to take that?
I can take the second part of the question.
Sure, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
My name is Amit Kumar.
So Amit, before I answer your questions, you are from the IT side or from the business function?
No, I am from the IT side.
Okay. So just so you know, even TCS uses SAP.
I know.
So basically, to answer your question, how we are helping customers in managing their data when it is coming from fragmented environments, and whether it is merger or acquisition, or in fact there are customers who are forayed into multiple businesses, and they have different ERPs, and they want to, when it comes to procurement function, they are setting up central procurement function, right? So we have had a couple of those use cases. One of the biggest group in India, and the way to manage is that something called as MDG, right? So MDG along with tools like central procurement, central invoice management. So these are the tools where you don't have to really work on the data too much. There are inbuilt AI ML capabilities that will do the job for you. A PR which is originating from multiple ERPs, rules can be set up to aggregate those PRs into a single RFP, which can be sent to Ariba for sourcing. And once the award is done, whether it is purchase order or a contract, then it gets automatically distributed to the relevant ERP systems. So that sort of a capability does exist, and in fact one of our key customers is using it today. Yeah.
So thank you, Lalit. Maybe I will connect with you later. Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe any response from the...
Yeah, I think Amit has a question on like how do we work if there are multiple ERPs, and then how do we really use the power of AI?
Correct.
So maybe I can actually take that, I think, very real case in our company as well, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you will have the same thing. So we have like, we are a company which has grown by actually mergers and acquisitions. So and I don't know whether this is the perfect answer or we are doing the best, but this is what we are doing. I can tell what we are doing. So we are using MDG platform, and then we have the data from all the ERPs that go into a Snowflake environment. And then we are adding either, like right now we were using a lot of the dashboards, but we have a data lake with all the data coming from all the ERPs. and then we are going business, we are first defining the business case and then going backward on what is it that we want to use from the data and what is the insights we want to come out of it. So, but like maybe like historically for every use case, we were like going back to every ERP and making the connection. Like after that we changed, okay, we cannot do that, it's too costly, that let all the data from all the ERPs come into our data lake in a Snowflake environment, and then every use case that we have, we actually say would have a front end, but then for the back end, we will leverage the Snowflake to get the required data for the required insights that we would have. Now this is as on today. Whether this is the best, I don't know. How can AI help it? I think we'll also learn in the process.
Sure. Thank you, Ajay. Thanks.
Okay, no, thank you. No, this was actually very, very helpful. And I'm sorry that we are out of time and cannot take more questions. But it was my privilege to learn from this panel and all the insightful questions that all of you had as well. Thank you very much for being very patient, audience.
Yes, of course. Thank you to the entire panel. Please be with us on the dais for next 1 minute, because we would like to present a small certificate of appreciation for your time you have given us, your knowledge you have shared with us today. And to give away the mentors, may I invite Mr. Samrat Patnaik, Head of Business Enterprise, Finance and Spend, SAP. Sir, can we have you on the dais, please?